There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Ready to go for round, I don't know what this is, 3, 4 maybe this week. We're getting up and running. We're finally getting going. And that's not a bad thing whatsoever. Of course, we've got a lot of MMA news to discuss, despite this very slow UFC Apex week. And some people I've seen are complaining, but you know what? Apex cards, I don't want them to be very good. If you understand what I'm saying, if you understand my motive, I've spoken about it in the past, I need to layer and stack these cards in a particular order in which it is an Apex card. We don't want the good and the best of the best on Apex cards. We want the prospects and those who are willing to fight in the Apex for potentially a lower rate. Of course, they're all trying to save money with this Apex card, these Apex cards, that is. But that is all aside. Anyway, welcome in. If you're watching this in the future and nobody's here right now live, that's okay with me. We're going to just chat it up, talk it up, and have some fun regardless. Because guess what? I like MMA. I like talking about it. And I could go for hours. But we'll just keep it quite brief today. We'll hit some topics. We'll hit some stories, some miscellaneous stuff, some Bryce Mitchell stuff, and a bunch of other things called into question. We got Paramount news, Western masses here. Who we hating on today? Everybody can get it, Western Mass. That's my motto here. Poke-Gate, Cyril Gahn, Tom Aspinall. We can hate on everybody. Everybody's got a little bit of a part to play in every bit. I'm always a pessimistic person, so pessimistic, excuse me. See, I can hate on myself. I can give myself criticism, critical criticism that is necessary for survival in life if I had to put out my 2 cents. But for now, we'll keep it here. We'll go over the news, chat it up, have some fun. Western Mass, if you want to talk about anything, throw it there in the comments. You might be the only one here. That's all right. I can't swear like normal. What happened, brother? What happened, man? I'm wondering why you can't swear. I mean, you can swear whenever you want, I suppose, unless, the wrath of God is coming for you, in which that might be the case. Is it that time of year? Easter. You have to, give up something for what the Catholics might say, Lent. I can't swear. I can't do this. I can't eat chocolate. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we'll jump right into it. The biggest news of the week, because, of course, like I said, it's an Apex card. Not a lot to talk about. We can talk about it if we want to, but I'll leave that up to you guys, anybody watching live. But for right now, we gotta discuss Bryce Mitchell, who last night appears to have broken his nose in training. And he's asking fans online to come help him out. And, in fact, 2 hours later, he comes out with another video saying that it's all taken care of. I apologize for looking like a cheapskate. My buddy did fix it for free. When I ripped my nuts in half, it was only $12.50. This was the best $12.50 I ever spent. Of course, getting your nuts fixed is probably something pretty damn important. Here's Bryce. We'll play his first video first and his second video second.
It's all right now. I need my nose straightened out. I just got it broken. It's you can tell, it's sideways or whatever. But dude, the doctors are so expensive. They're like $2,000 or some shit just to set my nose. Can somebody in Searcy, by the grace of God, please set my nose back straight for free? If you can fix my nose for free in Searcy, Arkansas right now, send me a message, and I'll probably go to you instead of the doctor, because this is probably going to be like thousands of dollars, and it'll just have to be pulled and put back straight, So if y'all can help, let me know. Thank you.
So, Western Mass, you bring up a good point. It's a broken nose. Don't be a pussy. Now, I would say that Bryce put out this video because, number one, probably doesn't want to pay any medical fees that he might have, and we'll get into that in just a second. But for now, he probably, knowing Bryce, doesn't quite trust his other training partners or his coaches. Not the, sharpest tools in the shed, if you know what I'm saying. They may know how to fight, but do they know how to set a bone back in place? So, of course, he's going to call out to anybody that he can, because at the gym, I wouldn't trust anybody either. I mean, you saw what Aaron Pico and his coaches were doing to him when he threw his shoulder out not but a couple of years ago. That was a rough sight for sure. So, Bryce Mitchell, I think this is probably a smarter option than asking your coach, who may or may not know how to do this properly, to do it for you. Now, a few hours later, we get more news. Here's Bryce again.
I wanted to let y'all know I'm doing really good, and I wasn't in any pain at all, so that was really good. For whatever reason, it just didn't hurt the whole time. But I was worried because I didn't know exactly what to do, and I didn't know if it would ever come back straight again. And that was my main concern, but I'm totally healed. Thank the Lord. God, thank you so much for healing me. And also, I apologize for looking like a cheapskate, because right when that happened, my brain went to primal survival instinct, and I started thinking, oh man, this is going to be expensive. This is going to be, what have I done here? This is going to be thousands of dollars to fix. And it's a shame that that's where my brain went to, but that was my main concern, and my buddy did fix it for free. But I'm going to try not to be a cheapskate next time. And you know, I've been to the doctor, and honestly have not had.
So,
hey, I wanted to let.
So that's pretty much it from Bryce. That's the end of the story as of now. But this calls into question a larger topic at hand, and that is the insurance that fighters receive. And we can get at that in just a second. Western Mass, you make a good point here. He should have said it himself, like Cheeto said, his finger mid-fight like a gangster. The fingers are a little bit more easily manipulatable, though, as far as I'm concerned. The nose, of course, has to be pulled, popped. You don't want to break the bones. They're a little more fragile in there. The fingers are pretty damn durable. I mean, they are literally what we grab things with. So to be fair to Bryce, and of course, listen, Bryce has had his fair share of controversy, no doubt. I think he's an absolute fucking idiot, but I still find him a bit of an endearing character, despite some of the stupid shit that he said. He's an absolute fucking moron. I don't even want to get into the stuff that he said last year, but he's a funny guy. I like him as a character. He's a goofball. It is what it is. I think he doesn't really ever mean half the stuff he's saying. If you know what I mean, I don't really know. I don't want to speak for him. I don't want to pretend like I'm some Bryce Mitchell apologist. I'm not. I just enjoy him as a character. He's a little bit of a silly guy, and I can enjoy that while also being super critical of the retarded ass shit that he said last year. Okay, like I said, this brings in an entire different topic. Of course, Bryce Mitchell is asking online if somebody can help him at all. Yeah, but Bryce wasn't in the middle of a fight. He could have handled it in the bathroom in the mirror. Yeah, but he's training, right? So he doesn't want to fuck it up. And this might be the smartest thing we've had from Bryce Mitchell in the past couple of months, years, but he's getting it done by a medical professional. He's not just trying to set it back in person. You don't want to break your nose if you don't have to, right? I mean, I've seen guys that have had it dislocated and then break it, putting it back in place. So that's entirely possible. Is it as gangster as Cheeto Vera putting his finger back in place mid-fight? No, but we've seen other guys put their noses back in place. We've seen eyes get blown up because they're blowing their nose. I mean, anything could really happen here. So I'm going to say that this was Bryce being smarter than usual. Does it make him as big of a gangster as others? No, but it's just being truthful. It's being transparent, and I do appreciate it. It's kind of cool to see. It is what it is. But Sean Strickland, of course, comes out, and he says this in response to all this going down. Well, I was wrong. You have to have a fight book to get medical insurance from the UFC. It's hilarious. What a joke. Now, this calls into question, of course, that insurance, which back in 2011, the UFC added insurance for training injuries. So anytime a fighter's training in and out of camp, they received coverage for the injury. Even Amin Zahabi is jumping in here under Luke Thomas. And of course, Luke Thomas has his fair share of this and that. Agree with them with what you want as you will, but he's doing a good job covering this. Amin Zahabi, he didn't even know this. Luke Thomas responds, maybe the policy has changed. I honestly don't know. I wasn't aware of any changes that may have been made. So we keep following this. Here's the official statement back May 9th, 2011, Toronto, Canada, calling it unprecedented in combat sports. The UFC's announced plans to insure its fighters for accidental injuries in between bouts, not just when they are signed to fight, but in between bouts as well. The mixed martial arts promoter currently carries insurance to cover injuries suffering during fights. The new plan kicks in June 1st of 2011. This will look after fighters who are hurt between bouts. Previously, fighters have been on their own. I forgot to share my screen. Pardon me. Previously, fighters have been on their own if they were injured training for a bout. Not only did they miss out on the fight purse, they had to look after their own medical expenses. This is a big milestone in the company, said President Dana White. He's speaking about this. It's a big day not only for the company, but for the combat sports in general. It's never been done. It's a proud moment for us. He added, all UFC and Strikeforce fighters under contract to parent company Zuffa, no matter where they are based, are eligible for medical coverage of up to US $50,000 a year. So listen, I don't know how much it costs if you get some kind of crazy compound fracture or some kind of crazy knee surgery where you tear your entire leg apart. That might cost more than $50,000, but listen, it is pretty good of this, at least at the time, for President Dana White and the UFC as a whole to be coming out with this, but it seems like some of these fighters don't even know that. Now, I suspect that I would chalk that up to poor management. Of course, management has been a question as of late in the UFC, how managers take advantage of fighters, I don't know. Some of these managers just seem to not be doing a great job. Now, a couple come to mind, Ali Abdelaziz, Tiki Gosen. You know, it is what it is at this point. But Luke Thomas says this at the end of the whole thing. Unless the policy has been changed, the entire point of the UFC's insurance policy is to cover precisely this, injury sustained during training. Perhaps he's still, even with insurance, it's still $2,000 out of pocket. Now, I suspect that it's likely not going to cost you over $50,000 to get your nose reset at the hospital. I believe Luke is probably giving Bryce a little bit too much credit on the matter. Back when he tore his nutsack open, I don't even remember, was he under contract with the UFC at that point? I don't quite remember. It's been some time since then, but that was a crazy scenario in and of itself. You guys let me know what you think about this. Of course, Western Mass seems to think that Bryce Mitchell should have just gone out like a man. I mean, Chito Vera did it. Why not Bryce Mitchell? Well, that'll be that on Bryce Mitchell. What else do we have to discuss? Of course, we can't end it there. We got to keep moving right along. We can't avoid it. I'm tired of talking about it, but I got more stuff to say. I've got more stuff to look at. And it is, of course, Poke-Gate. What I am calling Poke-Gate. I hope everybody starts to call it that as well, whether you're on the Cyril Gahn side of things or whether you're on the Tom Aspinall side of things. It is certainly and utterly Poke-Gate. There you see it. Tom Aspinall got his eyes gouged out back at UFC 321, and now the entire story is turning on its head. Guys like Kevin Lee coming out of the woodworks, all kinds of fighters, media members coming out, throwing out their opinion on the matter. Here's Kevin Lee speaking on it. He says that 22 fights in the UFC, I never once eye poked somebody. I'm starting to think guys are doing it on purpose. Refs should take more points. At the same time, a lot of guys be faking that shit. Maybe Tom Aspinall was faking. I don't think so. Those eye gouges were pretty damn bad. You can look at it. I don't know what the situation is. He says that he can't see. His father says he can't see. I don't know. Scratch cornea. There's people online. I was getting back and forth with it. Go watch Brian Suderer's video about it. I was going back and forth with a couple people online. Just because you can't see the damage doesn't mean there isn't damage there. Just because physically his eye looks okay does not mean he suffered no damage. That's the problem that I'm having with some people. And again, you can call him a quitter. Western Mass, you're calling Bryce Mitchell a pussy. I don't quite think he's a pussy, but you have your prerogative. You have your feelings about Bryce Mitchell as a person. Maybe that's playing into the factor. I don't know. That is what it is. And we're just here chatting it up, having some fun. We can go back and forth. It's fun to have discussions back and forth. That's what makes this fun. That's what makes it, a fandom, being a fan of the sport. And that's Kevin Lee speaking on it. Well, we've got more guys coming out. And of course, Curtis Blades, he recently started a Twitch stream. He's streaming events now. He had Corey Sandhagen as one of his first guests here. Let's take a listen to what they had to say live as the eye poke happened, as the end of the fight played out.
Look how far it goes into his eye on the one.
When you slow it
the
down,
one looks
nasty.
nasty. Yeah. I know, because at first I was like, I don't know, man, that ain't look that bad. But then it was like, ooh, dude.
Yeah, that one looks bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's nothing you could do with the gloves. I think some people just do it though.
Yeah.
I think that some people just poke people in the eyes more than the other people, and they don't really care.
I've heard other guys openly, like Derek Lewis, he's openly said he will eye poke you or hit you in the balls just to get a break.
Has he poked a bunch of people in the eye?
No, it's not like he doesn't have a rep of this. He's not John Jones Jr.
Yeah, I've literally, I don't think, ever poked anyone in their eye.
Because you have really good hand placement also. You know,
I think it's because I give a shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me try to not poke this fool in the eye.
It was incidental because he was like hosting. He tries to bring it back. It doesn't look like he drives. Oh, there it looks like he drives into it. Yeah, it looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad, man.
It's almost bad.
Look how far it goes into his eye on the...
Shout out Ralfucho popping in. Appreciate you, man. Gon is a serial cheater every damn fight. I mean, yeah, we'll look at that in just a second. Hold on, Western Mass. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. That's my problem with it. Whether you think Tom Aspinall's a pussy, I mean, people are calling him pussy like crazy. And of course, shout out to Curtis Razor Blades. I mean, this guy has overcome a stutter and now he's starting to stream online. I mean, shout out to the guy. He seems like he's pretty funny. Corey Sandhagen seems like a pretty funny guy too. So maybe we'll have some good guests from around the Denver area on the show. I don't know what he's doing exactly, but shout out them. Go check them out. That's super cool they're doing that. Somebody other than just somebody like me who talks about fighting and doesn't actually fight for a living. Maybe they'll bring a different perspective to things. But yeah, here's Andy Aspinall speaking on it from yesterday. They put out another video after the fact. Andy Aspinall speaking on it.
I'm just bothered that my kid's got a job that he likes and he wants to do it. And he's been fouled in a contest. The guy who fouled him, no consequence to him. And now there's a consequence to Tom. And hopefully it'll be all right, but it might not be.
That's what's kind of wild here is hopefully, I mean, he says that he can't see out of his right eye. Now, the right eye didn't seem like it was damaged as badly, but it also did go in there and scrape up more than the other guy. His left eye was more pressure-based. We can take a look at it again. The left eye suffered from more of a pressure poke. The right eye seemed to be a little bit more scraping. Now, Western Mass, Tom Aspinall's not a pussy. He got fouled, 100% deserves his eyes right when he's fighting. Of course, all kinds of MMA fighters alike, you know, whatever. I'm misspeaking, but you get what I'm saying. I'll say it right here, plain as day. The MMA fan base is divided. Commentators, pundits, fighters alike seem to be split nearly 50-50 on this, and I agree with Western Mass. I think Tom Aspinall ultimately suffered from this. Do we want to... Was that fight not looking very, very entertaining? Both guys, Tom Aspinall blitzing forward like crazy, Cyril Gane avoiding him, poking and prodding from the outside, looking really damn good. I mean, did you not want to see a good fight, or did you want to see Cyril Gane potentially take advantage of Tom Aspinall being blind in 1.5 eyes, and then he just knocks him out 10 seconds later? I don't want to see that. I want to see a good fucking heavyweight fight, okay, that goes the distance potentially, goes to the scorecards and all that war. That's what I want to see. That's the potential that this fight had. And I can't understand why people hate Tom Aspinall so much. It just seems so odd. And there's so many weird fans of Cyril Gane all of a sudden. Like, who's a fan of Cyril Gane? I mean, I don't hate the guy. No, don't get me wrong. But the guy goes to decisions quite often. And he's not the most exciting fighter. He is a fit heavyweight, so I do appreciate him for that. I'm by no means a huge fan of Cyril Gane. Like, where did all these fans of Cyril Gane come from? And I can show you that it was likely from this man right here. Now, we spoke about Cyril Gane being a serial cheater. Listen to this from John Jones. This is coming up out of the woodworks. This is nothing new. I've heard this over the course of many, many years. You've seen it. You've heard it. If you're a hardcore fan, if you're a casual just jumping in here, you know damn well that this is John Bones Jones, the alleged GOAT of MMA. Take a listen.
I do poke people in the eyes, and it's very illegal, but I do it. It's like if someone's coming at me, I'll just put my hand on their forehead. And a lot of times they end up missing the punch that was intended for my face. And sometimes it lands in people's eyes. And people hate that. They're like, Johnny, you're a very talented fighter. You don't need to use an illegal tactic to be successful. I try to tell people it's not intentional, but now I'm kind of known for it. And it's working.
Now, was John Jones being a little bit hyperbolic, a little bit comedic here? Maybe so. But he's also said in interviews that he does not brush his teeth multiple days heading into the fight, does not put on deodorant multiple days heading into the fight, intentionally does not clip his fingernails or toenails up until the night of the fight where the commission has to step in, or the referees, the judges, the guy who wraps his hands, he has to come in and cut his nails and cut his toes for him. That's just being a bad fucking sport. Like, this is not a fucking street fight. I mean, I do not understand John Jones. I get it. But maybe that's why he's one of the best of all time, because he does this kind of stuff so often, and guys are scared of it. They avoid it. He smells like shit. His breath stinks. I don't know what the hell's playing into factor here. But it might have something to do with why he's so damn good and why he's so damn dominant over some of these fighters. Anyway, Western Mass, it was shaping up to be a great fight. If Tom had his orbital broken, that'd be too bad. You have to keep fighting, but if you're fouled, fuck it, rematch that shit. Right. Well, who's upset about the rematch? I mean, I'm upset that I lost by $85 fucking when I was trying to see a good fight, and that's Cyril Gahn's fault because he poked him in the goddamn eyes. Tired of this. But we have more information coming out again as the days and as the hours roll on, and it sounds like something may be coming down the pipeline as it comes to the commissions and the rule sets. Now, Ariel Helwani says that any kind of poke foul could potentially be an automatic DQ. Now, I don't fully agree with this, but take a listen to what he has to say and what Andy Foster of the California State Athletic Commission had to say, and they've got a rule meeting coming up. I find this very, very interesting.
I spoke to Andy Foster last night, who is the head of the ABC Rules Committee, and he told me that they have a meeting scheduled for next Tuesday to discuss this intentional, non-intentional meshugas, and he agrees with my stance. And so you'll recall yesterday when I said we need to get rid of this language because it's confusing everyone, and a foul is a foul, and a foul should be a DQ regardless of if it's intentional or unintentional, all this. And they are having a meeting to discuss this and to discuss potentially altering the language. What do you think of that? Any truth to the rumor, I don't know who I'm asking this question to, any truth to the rumor that they will forever call this the Ariel Helwani rule? Because I'm the only one who had the courage to bring it up. I mean, you got people like Rick out there arguing that this doesn't even matter, that it's not even a thing.
Should we place a wager on whether accidental eye pokes lead to automatic DQs? I'd love to. I'm certain I will win that one.
I actually think I'll win.
Let's do it.
I think I won't win with the low blows.
Let's make the
I think I won't win with the low blows. I think they'll say low blows are different. I think
they will remove the language of accidental or not accidental.
Yeah.
I think fouls will be penalized moving forward. I do not think that accidental will lead to DQs.
Okay, so what you're saying is...
Now, from my perspective in Western Mass, I get you, man. Kind of upset about the rematch just for the simple fact that Gahn truly doesn't deserve it, in your opinion, but I'll watch it. Yep, that's me too as well. I'm on board with that. Now, I agree with El Jefe down here. Automatic DQ, that's a little bit tough because then that incentivizes every single fight, every time there is a foul, to cop out of it, whether it was slight or not. Now, the Tom Aspinall one, you saw it on the replay. That shit was pretty fucking bad. Now, I harken back to just a week prior where Kevin Holland was seemingly not hit on the nuts, hit more up in the stomach, hip area, and it might have glanced his cup, and I don't know what happened, but we've seen no medical report, no diagnosis, no nothing coming out of it. Now, we haven't seen anything from Tom either, but eye pokes are different. You know that you can sustain some level of blurriness or loss of sight in the moment because of the pressure involved. You go watch videos about this. Nut shots are a bit different. It's hard to do significant damage to the testicles, to the nuts. It's hard to actually do some serious damage. Now, you can be in pain for more than 5 minutes. You can get checked or kicked right up in your nuts, and it's the worst feeling in the world. 10-15 minutes, you could potentially burst something down there, but it's going to take some real force to do that. So of course there is a difference, and a DQ for any kind of foul, that's a little bit harsh. But I think 1 point getting taken away, 2 points being taken away potentially on fouls, I think that should ultimately truly be in play. Guys like Demetrius Johnson, he is not completely against this. He says that, this shit's going to happen all the time. I disagree because Demetrius, I can't remember a single time he poked somebody in the eye. I can't remember a time that Matt Brown, Jim Miller, Rafael Dos Anjos, Clay Guida, these guys that have been in the game for so long, I can't remember any time that they poked somebody in the eyes. And that doesn't mean they haven't, but it just means that I don't remember it. Cyril Gahn, on the other hand, this guy's poking somebody in the eyes seemingly every single fight, or kicking somebody in the nuts, whether it's John Jones or whoever, every single fight. It's absolutely outrageous. It's absolutely crazy. I'll try to find the image that I found earlier today. It was a compilation of Cyril Gahn and his fouls. And again, is he a dirty fighter? I don't know. Some of these images and some of these compilations, they are highly suggestive. Ben the Bane Davis, found this compilation. I'll share it. We'll skim through it. Blow it up. Full screen. Western Math. Remember when Bryce shredded his nut with a drill in his pocket? Yeah. That was wild, man. Wild times. Wild times. But here it is. That looks so intentional to me. I don't know, man. And again, I'll pull it back up for you and anybody watching. Listen, the initial touch where he's on the face and he's posting off, I don't think they should be doing this in that same manner. You need to be careful. You need to be careful when you're posting off their body. Now, sometimes in the heat of moment when you're posting off, I get it. Demetrius Johnson says, when you throw a kick, your hands are out like this. Like, yeah, everybody and anybody who's thrown a kick knows that, but he was not throwing a kick. He was simply at boxing range and pushed away from Tom Aspinall because he's trying to avoid being in the pocket with him. I thought Cyril Gane was this great striker. Why are we pushing his face away to get distance? Don't you want to strike in the pocket with him and out-duel him? I guess not. But it's that second half of the eye poke where he pushes, Tom Aspinall starts to move away. Cyril Gane continues to dig and push his hand into the eyes. The knuckles turn over. It's ridiculous, man. It's crazy. But we'll go back to the compilation. I just find this wild. Here he is. Elbows, kind of side of the head, back of the head area. Here's another fight. Look, he's on his opponent on the ground. Now, of course, in some promotions, it is legal to knee your opponent while he is on the ground, but I suspect this is not one of them, considering it was likely in Europe. There he is again, throwing the knee. The referee doesn't even come in until way after. There he is. Thank goodness. Dontel May's fight, one of the early fights he had in the UFC. Bink right in the back of the head. Bit accidental. Dontel was turning his head. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But there's a nut shot. There's a finger in the eyes from range, from distance. Why are we doing this? You're not throwing a strike. You're not trying to get range. You're literally crashing in. It's much like John Jones. And now his coach, Fernand Lopez, you can go find this for yourself, did come out and say everything was going to plan, blah, blah, blah. Did not make any mention of the eye pokes, which suggests that he was not deterring his fighter from throwing those eye pokes. Maybe that's why Cyril Gane was crying in the aftermath, because he knows, fuck, I should have had my hand closed. I shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake trying to take advantage of the rules. Has his fingers extended the entire time. Here he is, Tanner Boaster, another early fight. I don't want to play the whole thing. They'll probably copyright me or whatever. I don't know how that shit works. Here he is against Dos Santos. Nut shot early in the fight. And then ultimately the last strike, which at the time I didn't believe was a back of the head shot or intentional, because I was interested in seeing a super athletic Cyril Gane climb up the heavyweight rankings, beat an old legend of the game. But man, in hindsight, did he give a shit where that was landing? Back of the head or not? Doesn't seem so. Doesn't seem so. And then we continue on. The Rosenstrike fight. There's another nut shot. Not too bad. Fingers extended. Eye poke. Rosenstrike's calling him out for it. Another nut shot. This, that, and the other. Another eye poke. And again, these can be forgiven, but it just seems like this guy in every single fight is doing it. And I'm not trying to slander the guy in any way, shape, or form, but look at the fucking facts. This guy seems to be doing it every single time out. And all these fake Cyril Gane fans, you might want to hop off the bandwagon before this shit starts coming out. There he is, hits him in the nuts. Now that one again, heat of the moment. I give some of these a pass. I absolutely do. But here he is against Volkov. What are we doing here? Close the fucking fingers. He's coming in. Don't you want to hit him with an elbow, step in elbow as he's charging into you? Or jump out of range? Why are the fingers there for such a long period of time? And then he's saying, no, let me continue. I don't want to cut the video. I mean, what the fuck is this, man? What are you doing? You're not throwing a strike. Shout out to Boss Rudin. If you're throwing a palm strike, throw a fucking palm strike. God damn, man. What are you doing? He literally just stabs him in the eyes. What were you going to do with those fingers otherwise? Were you trying to pat him on the head? I mean, what? Foolish, man. Foolish. I'm tired of talking about this. Now, he's trying to finish the fight. Why are we going back of the head here? I don't understand. But again, heat of the moment. Half of these you can overlook, but some of them are just so ridiculous. And again, Shot Tuivasa, he's turning, squirming, squeaming, whatever. He's moving out of the way. He's trying to avoid all that damage. Shit happens. But we're 7 seconds into the fucking John Jones fight. You throw a kick and it's immediately in the nuts. Now, was this intentional? Probably not, but what are you doing? They say control your weapons. This guy seems to have no control over himself whatsoever. Anyway, I'm done talking about this for today. I'm over it. We got some more stuff to talk about. UFC Paramount. Paramount Plus, of course, this will be the home of the UFC in the United States. And last night, yesterday, this morning, whenever it was, the UFC will stream now officially across all of Latin America and Australia. Now, in Australia, they will still have to pay for the numbered events, still have to pay for the pay-per-views, but this is a good thing. It's all coming under one umbrella. Very easy to keep up with, very easy to track numbers, viewers across the whole board, less different outlets to have to broadcast and do negotiations with. That's cool. That's good. On the outset, now, MMA Latino America has come out and clarified a couple of things. The agreement covers all countries in Latin America. It starts January 2026. We know this is also starting with the United States deal. They got this deal done as quick and as fast as possible. For now, no other channel or platform is going to broadcast the events, neither Disney nor Fox nor ESPN. So, any updates, follow Latino America. Shout out to them. Good follow here. Now, there's more coming out, and of course, this was posted allegedly. This isn't 100% confirmed, but gonna cut down on pirated streams for sure. Absolutely. That's something. You bring up a great point, Western Mass. I did not think about this, but of course, the cost of Paramount Plus is going to be a lot less than an $80 or a $30 or a $40 or a $50 pay-per-view. Of course, in other countries, the money is different. Doesn't quite equate to the American dollars for us here, or at least me, myself, and I. But any Spanish speakers out there, if you're watching this, sounds like we're getting some of the commentary crew back. Santiago Ponzinibbio posted on Instagram that he'll be returning Claudio Puelles, Brandon Moreno, Daniel Zellhuber, Troy Santiago, Alexi Gracias, Walda Bahamondes, Chito Avera, Victor Davila. Of course, Victor and Troy, I believe they are the color guys. I could be wrong there. I do not watch the Spanish broadcast, so forgive me. But again, this will significantly cut down on all of the illegal streaming. Now, Maverick Defender says Aspinall quit. Literally, at face value, yes, he quit the fight. Okay, you win that one, but come on, my friend. I'll show it one more time because, you know what? We've got a live viewer here. Maverick, maybe he's gone, maybe he's not. That's a pretty damn bad eye poke, Maverick. A pretty damn bad eye poke. Aspinall gasped after Gon bloodied his nose, forcing him to breathe out of his mouth. I don't think he was breathing out of his mouth. It wasn't that much blood. It didn't look like he broke his nose. If you've ever had a bloody nose for any particular reason, you know that some people bleed pretty damn easily. I'm one of those people. You could flick my nose right now. I've said this already 1,000 times, but it'd be bleeding like a fucking fountain. That's a pretty bad eye poke. I don't think he quit. Did he literally quit fighting? Yes. But come on. On face value, the definition of the word, sure, you win that battle, but come on. Fucking ridiculous. His eyes were closed. Doesn't matter. Look, his eyeballs quite literally bulging out of his left eye when the finger goes in over the eyelids. The other one actually scrapes up under the eyelid a bit when he moves. So I have to disagree, Maverick. I think you're a little bit foolish, my friend. But we'll keep going right along. Of course, UFC Paramount deal. Talking about the commentary crew. Cutting down on the illegal streams. Here is the promo that they had. A little 15-second teaser. A little bit more than the last 8-second teaser we got. Western Mass. Western Mass. Give it to him, man. Give it to him.
The global sports phenomenon has a new home.
Coming down the mountain!
UFC on Paramount Plus. Streaming this January.
Big time stuff, big news, trying to hype it up. And we've got not just only that 15-second trailer, but it sounds like something more is in the works. Awesome day shooting for UFC on Paramount Plus. Cody No Glove, of course, Cody Garbrandt says this. He's working with Alexa Grasso's. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of him, but Santos Studios and Bear DiGidio. Yikes. Not a big fan of this guy, but he does his thing, whatever. A little bit of a Nepo baby. I don't know. Interesting character there, but we have seen now Cody Garbrandt is working on something for Paramount with Alexa Grasso in the works. There's likely other fighters involved, some kind of promo, maybe a commentary bit, maybe a commercial, maybe a comedy sketch. I don't know what's going on, but I'm interested to see what this is going to be very, very soon. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. I'm hyped to see whatever they've got coming down the pipe. Hopefully it's some new innovative stuff and they don't just stick with the old guard, the old shit that I'm tired of seeing back and forth every single day. Hopefully this gets more interesting as the weeks and months progress closer to January and the new Paramount deal. Now, we've got some fights this weekend in the UFC, but first and foremost, we must talk about the Karate Combat card. They released the full card lineup, and it's filled with a bunch of former UFC veterans, some Bellator guys as well. We've got prospects on the come up. We got a couple of ladies fights in there. I will say the Karate Combat for the ladies has been more entertaining than a lot of the UFC lately, but that's is what it is. But of course, Uriah Hall and Marcus Perez will be co-main eventing this one. The main event between two guys that I don't know too much about, but I do know that this guy, Hamzin, he is an MMA fighter. Weathersby, I do believe he's either a Muay Thai or a karate guy. Not sure how much he's dabbled into the world of MMA, but Violent Bob Ross is back. That guy's an interesting character in and of himself. And Rafael Alves, this guy is an absolute terminator in the Karate Combat pit. Andre Ewell, Weber Almeida, I believe. Who else we got on the card? Roca, I don't know who this guy is on the right, to be fair, but Zach Pauga, Emiliano Sordi also coming in here. Damir Ismagulov and Tyler Hill, I believe, coming out of the PFL. Ismagulov from the UFC, Pauga fought in the UFC, Emiliano Sordi. That's going to be a fun one at heavyweight. These are two guys that are not super fat slobs, and I love to see that kind of stuff coming down from the Karate Combat crew. Of course, Alex Pereira and Charles Oliveira taking place in Miami. Got two prodigies of theirs. Will they be there in the corner? That's the question. I'm not so sure, but two rising stars carry the fire of their mentor. Will Hector Santiago follow in the footsteps of Alex Pereira, or will Apollo Gomez carry the torch for Charles Oliveira? That's a fun fight to open up the card, of course, starting at 6:30 Eastern on Friday. Halloween, got some fights on Halloween night. Always love to see that. Now, of course, can't go without mentioning that. Very interesting stuff there for the proteges. Good stuff. Maybe Alex and Charles will be there. They'll get some, fan interest brewing. They'll get some good clips, some good aura farming from the two Brazilian legends. But we also have to mention this. Special commentator John Danaher will be in attendance for this one. He'll be commentating 1, 2, I don't know. I don't think there's any jiu-jitsu matches going on, but of course this guy has a history across the martial arts, not just in jiu-jitsu, which is what he's more famous for now. This guy was in the cage of GSP as a striking coach back in the day. He's been on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a very interesting character. He's got a lot of good information to throw out to the crowd, but for now, we'll wait and see what's going on when that all unfolds. Of course, John Danaher, he'll be there commentating. So, what else do we have to cover before we wrap this thing up? How long have we been going? I don't even fucking know. I don't have a timer, don't know. We'll keep rolling along. Got a couple of live viewers in here sticking around with me. But again, we spoke about this yesterday just a little bit, but let's get into it a little bit more. Ilia Topuria is waiting for the result of Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev in hopes to face Makhachev at the UFC White House card in June if Makhachev is victorious. Ilia, we thought you were going to fight early 2026. What are we doing? What are we doing? Please fight somebody. Patty, Justin. At this point, I don't care. I don't think it should be Gaethje. I don't really think it should be Patty. it should be Arman, but Arman, he pissed off the wrong people, and so they're not going to give it to him, unfortunately. Islam Makhachev says he wants to fight in the White House. I also want to be there. It's going to be a big fight for the MMA community. If UFC wants this fight, we can do this. Which fight is going to be bigger than this? I don't think you can make a bigger fight in the UFC other than potentially Tom Aspinall and John Jones because of the casual fan appeal that John Jones brings into the cage and to the media. So Maverick, he says John Jones would destroy Aspinall. I have to disagree. Now, Cyril Gane could outpoint Tom Aspinall in a fight, could win the fight 5 rounds, could go back and forth. He could win it. But I think that Tom Aspinall is just too big, too physical, too explosive for John Jones. I think John Jones was able to catch Cyril Gane before he was able to really develop his grappling skills. It's been a few years since then. Cyril Gane's obviously gotten better in the grappling department, and I hope that he has for sure. Western Mass wants to see Ilya fight Justin. Great legacy layup for Ilya, retirement for Gaethje, and it would be a good fight while it lasts. Now, I don't think Justin deserves it by any means possible, but yeah, if Justin's going to go out, I guess this might as well be it. Now, I'm really sad that we may not ever get Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. That's one of those fights that I will be very, very sad. Arman can kick rocks for fumbling his title shot. I get where you're coming from. I kind of am leaning that way too. It's just been too long. He should have jumped in there and tried to secure his number 1 spot. I do think he's probably the second or third best lightweight outside of Ilya and Islam. He just did the wrong things at the wrong time. Rich Boy has problems, apparently, but that's going to be that. I think Justin, if nobody else is going to fight, throw Justin in there, even though I don't think he deserves it whatsoever. I think it's going to be an absolute beatdown, but we'll see. I agree with you. Probably a layup. Now, of course, we keep talking about the Tom Aspinall eye poke, and that wasn't the only bad thing that we saw in the court. Of course, Jailton Almeida decided to not fight Alexander Volkov whatsoever. He decided to take him down and proceed to do 0 damage on the ground. Throw up a few submissions, but other than that, nothing really interesting. Rampage Jackson says to combat that, we should throw up $1 million prize bonuses to reduce boring fights. Let's see what he's got to say. We'll read it right here. I'm going to tell you how the UFC could fix it. Jackson said, if I was a promoter and I had the bankroll the UFC had, I would up the fight night bonus. They just made $7 billion more just for the rights, right? I would up the fight of the night bonus to $1 million, so there's $2 million per show. They can afford it. Going to get more exciting fights. I would say they're going to up it 100%, like $100,000, right? Jackson said, I would do $1 million if I make $7 billion just off selling the rights to broadcast. Now, I get what he's saying here. $1 million is a lot, and fighters need to be hungry. There's been books written about this. There's been commentators that talk about this. There's been guys that study the sport. Now, I love MMA fighters. I think they should be getting paid more, no doubt. But I think doubling their purses would likely give them that incentive without taking away I'm losing the word, but the entitlement that some of these NFL, NBA, MLB players get. They just have too much money in the bank. And unfortunately, that has made them not try as hard, not fight as hard, not play as hard in those games. Now, MMA fighters need to be held to a different standard. They are also not, garnering the same level of attention. So they should not be getting paid that much. Western Mass, if you look at it as a retirement fight for Gaethje and consider what he's done for all of us fans, he fucking deserves it. I guess so if you look at it that way, but I think meritocratically, in terms of meritocracy, not quite so, but I get where you're coming from. Don't disagree with you in full there. But we've got more than just that coming down the pipe. We've also got some alleged conversation between Muhammad Mokaev and Patchy Mix potentially fighting in the PFL. Back not too long ago, Muhammad Mokaev says that he was offered a chance to fight Patchy Mix at bantamweight for the belt. They got a message from the PFL. They offered me to fight Patchy Mix for the belt. They offered me to step into the Grand Prix. I accepted, but I couldn't get a working visa. Now this, I'm not so sure I believe this very much. Now, it's entirely possible. Of course, they're trying to capitalize on the UFC name in Muhammad Mokaev back when Patchy Mix was in the PFL. It's possible. I'm not so sure I believe it in full. Now, speaking of the PFL, we've got more to discuss here. Of course, Larissa Pacheco, a former opponent of Kayla Harrison. That's right, this is a woman. In case you didn't know that. She had some things to say about jumping into the UFC. She has recently been released from the PFL because I would predict that her contract is a little bit too expensive for them to handle. You guys take a listen.
Dana, tô aqui, tô na disposição, tô aqui para provar que eu tenho capacidade de estar aí, de mostrar um ótimo resultado, de mostrar uma Larissa diferente, né? Afinal, eu era muito criança quando eu entrei dentro do UFC. E hoje eu tenho maturidade, tenho estrutura, tanto para bater peso quanto para chegar lá e dar show. Tô aqui disposta a lutar eventos fora também, para poder fazer aí e mostrar para vocês, que pro Dana, pro Mickey, que são, né, que organizam, que mandam nessa parte, para mostrar que eu tô aqui. E, pô, com a parceria aí com a Amanda também, agregando, só mostra a minha potência de atleta. É só chamar aqui, eu tô pronta para entrar. Mas se tiver que provar, também tô pronta para provar. É a minha meta de vida hoje, né? Eu já cheguei em muitos lugares e agora é de volta para casa. E quem sabe logo chegar no cinturão do UFC também.
So, of course, she did fight early in her career back in the UFC, could not make weight, took a couple of losses, had some tough fights. It would be an interesting one if she could get back in there and actually make weight. She's a bit of a larger lady, so I don't know about that. But Daniel Cormier, he's been getting lambasted by the UFC social team. I don't know. I don't love the look of this, but it is pretty funny. It's likely just rage bait content they're trying to throw out there. Take a listen.
Yeah. Do you ever wish you were like athletic?
Come on. Seriously? That's absolutely ridiculous.
No, for real. Like in your prime.
Have you seen my career? Come on. That's so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Do you ever like wish you were athletic? Do you ever wish you were like athletic?
Which mean I wish I had, but girl, look at me. You look like a fucking athletic physique.
No. In my prime, I had athleticism to spare. I could pass some of my athletic ability to more people on the UFC roster.
Like, do you ever wish you were like more athletic?
Well, have you like wished to be bigger? Yeah, you know, but we all have a wish.
I could do everything. Basketball, soccer. I've just unlocked the fact that I'm still a pretty good soccer player. I can hit a baseball. I went to the Olympics. Like, there's a lot of cool shit I did. That was the greatest athlete.
I think I'm athletic. You said I'm not athletic? Well, we don't be fighting, bro. You don't think I'm athletic, bro?
I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is interesting to. I mean, it's a little bit silly, a little bit goofy. I mean, we're talking about it here, but it's a little bit odd. I don't know. Some people chiming in. Isn't this just rage bait series I saw with Bare Knuckle? What a loser asking that question. I mean, it's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get something interesting out of the fighters, out of the crew, out of the people that work for the UFC. But on a happier note, to end the show today, shout out to Western Mass. Shout out to Maverick for jumping in here. Anybody who's watching after the fact as well, I appreciate you. Drop a like, a sub, whatever you want to do to make sure you don't miss a show going forward. We got some more stuff to talk about, and a little bit on the positive side of things. Paddy Pimblett, of course, back a couple of years ago in the cage, said that he had lost, tragically, a friend due to some kind of mental health situation, that he, in fact, hurt himself in some way, shape, or form. And he's giving back to his city. UFC, Paddy Pimblett, together with the UFC and some other organizations, have launched a mental health program in his hometown, in the city where he resides over in England. Check this out. We'll take a listen.
We community, me city. This is just another one of them instances. Being invited down here today to speak to some of the next generation coming through, the younger generation, and hopefully I can give them a little bit of encouragement in whatever they're doing. Just down in the Hive, coming to see some of the youngsters here. I just know I always love giving back to like my community, my city. This is.
There's Paddy.
I think it's just because of where I'm from. Where I'm from plays a big part in the way I was raised. I'll never leave this city really. Even if I did live somewhere else, I'd still be coming back all the time. I've got too much loyalty to just leave my city behind. Same with the gym. Without everyone in the gym already that's there, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm just doing what I think I should do and anyone in my position should do, and that's give back to the place what's got you where you are. I think it's just because Obviously, places like this are so important because some people don't have the support like this at home or outside of school and things like that. So having places like this is so important for local communities because it helps the younger kids thrive. Like, I would have enjoyed having something like this when I was younger, but everyone that comes here knows that the people here care about them.
Listen, fighting will teach you a lot. Going through adversity and being humble, getting beat up, like a lot of these fighters talk about how that has really absolutely changed their life, changed their outlook on life as a whole. Listen, this is a good spot. This is a good thing. We're just ending things on a positive note. We're done talking about Poke-Gate for now, and it's on to bigger and better things. Paddy Pimblett is a man of his word, and he's doing as much as he can possibly do to help the people of his city. Growing up in Liverpool shaped who I am today, and it means a lot to now represent my city on the big stage in the UFC. I'm proud to support this program. It gives young people a chance to find something they're passionate about, build confidence, and see that their goals really are within reach. That will do it for me today, live here with you now, and that will be courtesy of Paddy Pimblett giving us some positivity to close out the show. So for everybody out there, you guys take this as your opportunity to do something nice for somebody today. I hope that you do. I will try to do something just along those lines because I hope you all have a great day, a great rest of the afternoon. Thanks for jumping into everybody here live, everybody who will watch this after the fact. Likely not too many, but that's okay. We're still rolling along. We're just having fun, chatting shit, and having a good time here. So for everyone out there, like, share, comment this, do whatever you want to do. That's all right by me. Just having a good time here. I'll see you guys next time.